Guys, the new characters are live in Etheria Restart. The new banner will start tomorrow with the daily reset, depending on what server you're playing, of course. In today's video, we're gonna have our first look, first impressions. We're gonna see if these characters are actually worth summoning for. We're gonna check multipliers. We're gonna check all of the details in detail, basically. First, I want to give a massive shout out to Etheria Restart for sponsoring the video. If you guys want to try out the game, you can click on the link in the description down below and come and join me in Etheria Restart. You can join my Discord as well, guys. We have a bunch of awesome people talking strats and stuff related to the game. But I do want to mention one more thing, and I promise I'm done with all the blah blah blah. I am doing a giveaway on the channel. Once we reach 1,000 subscribers, guys, we're gonna give away over 30 Apex summons, depending on whatever packs we have available at the time. Heck, maybe we're gonna have this available, and we're gonna give over 45 Apex summons away to some of you lucky guys that will win them, basically, right? All you gotta do, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments down below which one is your most favorite or most wanted character in Etheria Restart. We are expecting quite a few things to happen. We had an update today. I actually did not even have a check to see everything that was dropped in the game. But either way, let's focus on the main characters. They are here. We can see them. Batsby and Ninfoniel. I think I will start with her even on the summoning banner, right? I feel like she could potentially be the character that we really need. But I definitely want to get both of them because you know me, I'm a filthy degenerate gambler. Either way, let's start with the stats. Overall, fairly decent. 12.8k HP. Not necessarily the best, but not the worst. Very good speed at 122. Or very good. More or less good. And of course, decentish defense. Now, the first skill is something that was pretty intriguing, the resistance part. She deals 240% damage to a single enemy with a chance to apply resistance to herself. Yeah, this part is really useless in my opinion. I don't see myself building her with resistance, at least not at the moment. Maybe in the future, who knows, but as it looks like right now, I'm not the biggest fan. I do think she is going to be a pretty interesting one, though. So then we have the second skill, Glacial Overflow. A surge of frost, a burst of life. She will average the current HP percentage of all allies and then heals all allies for 25% of their max HP. So the healing will be based on their max HP rather than her max HP. I think equalizing and giving them 25% boost can be pretty nice. Definitely doesn't look too bad. Now this is on a 4-turn cooldown with lattice investment in her. And I don't think you necessarily need it, okay? Yes, that healing is gonna be nice to be increased from 15% to 25%. But I think most people won't use her for that. The first skill does not require the lattice because the skill is really irrelevant. This one, on the other hand, let's just say it would be nice to have it, but not mandatory, right? I think we can play it without. Now, the third skill is the creme de la creme on her kit, and this is on a 4-turn cooldown as well, with lattice in it. And I do think that you kind of want to put the lattice into this one. So let me just quickly explain you. She will do a basically 2-turn attack up buff and a 1-turn immunity to all allies, as well as a 2-turn Rime Bloom equal to 25% of her own max HP. So the higher her HP, the bigger that Rime Bloom shield is going to be, which is actually pretty cool. The duration of these effects are increased by 1 turn for the main target, so whatever character you're selecting to use in there. I think this can be really good. So on top of getting the increased attack boost, you're basically gonna get the Rime Bloom, which will give you another 40% attack boost. I think that is pretty damn huge, but only when it's active. So think about it in the following way. You will basically need to make her pretty damn fast, because if the bosses will break the shield before your damage dealer takes a turn, you're not going to benefit out of it. So I think if we're talking as an example of Rango Kutsu, because that's what they kind of like mentioned, right? New characters will make that boss much easier. I think you want her the fastest in the team. Move before the enemies, buff, put the immunity. You have a Claws, dropping the defense down. Then you have a Lily or somebody else boosting your damage dealer to go in front of the boss before they get to take a turn and absolutely get demolished. And if you do that, you will most likely kill the boss. I would probably say one ultimate, another ultimate, and then you just use the second skill and the boss is literally dead. Probably, it might even kill the boss with ultimate, but considering how much damage I'm doing on my Rango Kutsu, I don't really see that happening. But the good thing is that you could potentially have this basically on your team to survive after, because the boss will deal damage, it will hit the shield, and your characters will stay alive longer. Then she can heal with this skill, and bang, you can have your characters to survive longer. Or you can always give her a Codex and use this skill twice back to back, which will pretty much guarantee full immunity and everything else to the enemies, and more or less, I would say 100% win rate, but that's not going to happen if you don't land the defense down. So either way, I think she seems really interesting for that team. So if you go, for example, in the Rango Kutsu, let's go challenges, Grim Pursuit. So right now, the team that I'm running is the following, right? I think in my team, I would probably drop Kachi out of it, right? I will drop Kachi out of it. I will have her go first, buff my entire team. Then I would have Klaus go in, apply the decreased speed. Then I would have Lily buff my damage dealer, which, by the way, you can use, for example, now you can use D-Ring, and it's going to be pretty good because he's going to gain the increased attack from her, right? And Lilium, she self-buffs with increased attack, so that increased attack won't help her a lot, but the shield that will boost the damage will help her quite a bit. So that's actually definitely pretty interesting. And, of course, you will be able to use that character in a lot of other bosses. I'm sure we're going to see speed runs done with that team instead of other characters that are being used to speed run content, right? So who knows? Maybe we're going to see her and a Bayontine pushing all of the freaking stats, or some different characters that might push other stats to enable us to get to crazier speed runs in some content. Maybe not necessarily faster, because, hey, how much faster can you go, right? But I think we can definitely see much better speed run teams with her. She could potentially be very good for PvP because of the immunity and the buffs and the healing, right? So I think she's a well-rounded character. Then, if we're going to go on to the next one, let's see Batsby. So he is more or less a DPS. The base stat's not bad, 1.1k attack, 120 speed. The first skill will apply healing reduction or slash wound. Batsby brandishes the spear, dealing 220% damage to a single enemy with a 40% chance to inflict wound. For every one debuff on each enemy, Batsby damage to them is increased by 10%. If the target's affinity is countered by Batsby's, and they are the main target of the skill, damage dealt is increased by 30%, stacking up to 6 times. Wow! So versus weak affinity. So we are odd, right? We're basically going versus red. So if the red affinity, we are going to demolish them, right? Is that what they're saying? Or, yeah. Correct, yeah. That's actually pretty good. Now, this is his exclusive passive for the first skill. Do we need to have Lattice into this? It seems like it would be nice to have it because increases damage multiplier. Let's see, actually. So what are we getting? We're getting increases damage multiplier to 220. Wound duration to 2 turns. That's actually massive. Increases the chance to inflict wound to 40%. And this is really nice. Debuff to 10% and 30 from whatever it was. So it would be nice to get this sorted. Yeah, is the number one priority? Probably not. Then the second skill, Surge Tide of Impact. Batsby calls forth the waves, dealing 330% damage to all enemies. Pretty good multipliers. On crit, there is a 100% chance to extend all debuffs on the target, excluding control effects by 1 turn. As expected, no game will allow you to basically extend the duration of crowd control debuffs because the devs might be a bit crazy if they're doing that. But the multipliers are pretty nice, and you have a 100% chance to do it. Now, it's one hit. As I was mentioning in the previous video, I was sure that is one hit based on the skill description, the way they kind of like worded the whole thing there. But it's still a nice thing. You can extend the duration of dot, wounds, defense down, decrease speed, all of that stuff. So definitely pretty nice as well. It could be great even versus bosses, right? Not just PvP. Now, this is on a 3-turn cooldown. If you do not have the lattice, as we can probably notice right here, we will have around 270% multipliers most likely. And we're not going to have a 100% chance to increase the duration of the debuffs. Now, it really depends how much we are going to rely on this skill. Then we can be like, okay, we should put lattice in this as a priority. A 3-turn cooldown on this seems really nice, but let's actually see what we have on the third skill. So, the speed comes from here, as expected for a damage dealer. Increases the damage taken by 30% for vulnerable. We already have that in game. We know exactly what it does. And deals 390% damage. So, unleashes a Raging Torrent, dealing 390% damage to all enemies with a 100% chance to inflict vulnerable for 2 turns. For every 1 unit with crit landed, Batsby gains 20% turn meter. Wow, so if you crit versus all of the enemy team, you're basically going to get 80% turn meter back, which will enable you to rotate straight away. Now, the multipliers on him seem good for an AoE character. But I don't necessarily see him like a crazy damage dealer based just on that. We don't have any passive to activate more damage on this ultimate skill. We don't have any fancy things in here that will enable him to do a lot of burst damage. He could potentially out damage other characters just for the simple fact that he's rotating his skill so often, especially when he's using this, and fully skilled will be on a 3-turn cooldown, which means that you can instantly get it back more or less. I think it's a good character. In my opinion, my personal preference, my priority in terms of which character I'm going to go for is going to be, of course, the other one. I just feel like, yeah, it's great. The damage, the vulnerable, extended duration of the debuffs. But is it really going to be as super impactful on my account as her? I think she's the one that really brings value to pretty much every single account out there. So if you're wondering for which one you should summon, if you only have the opportunities to go for one, is definitely going to be her, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'm definitely going to go all in for her. Probably I'm going to have to open my wallet a bit because at the moment I only have, what do I have? 43 summons. And the Mercy is at 80. Now, hopefully, we do not have to hit the Mercy, but you never know. As usual, guys, appreciate every single one of you watching, and I will catch you all in the next video. Big shout out to Etheria Restart for sponsoring the video. Much love. Peace.